Hey, what's up? Brent from Brenspeed. Thanks for watching another behind the scenes episode of our Coyote swap Mustang. I am pumped today because the fuel system came in, and that means I'm that much closer to getting this car running. So Doug, why don't you take a quick scan of what we have right here? So I was going to originally do a much less expensive fuel system because I'm trying to do this car in the cheap. And the more I got to thinking about it, because we install a lot of Fore fuel systems on our clients' cars, I really wanted one of these on this car. So I spent a little extra money to get this, but talk about a complete kit. This thing is absolutely awesome. I'm going to show you the parts right here that come in the kit. In the description, I'm going to leave some more information about the pumps and the different options you can get, because there's a lot. It's pretty complex, but this is an awesome company to work with. And then we're going to go out to the car and check it out. So let's look at this right now. Don't forget, hit subscribe. It's going to stay up to date. Hit the notify button. Do that now. And now let's get to it. Hit a request for the proper fuel rail adapter. I'm going to run the stock rails because I didn't want to buy rails. We're talking about naturally aspirated car. I really didn't need them. I'm trying to save some money. That adapter I can't show you because it's out in the shop right now. But this is the complete kit you get. So let's start with this awesomeness right here. Fore is out of Florida. So this is drops right in the tank. It's a dual pump setup. So again, in the description, you're gonna read about the different type of pumps you can get. Man, there is a lot, whether you're doing like E85 or you're doing just gas or race fuel, or maybe you have a supercharged car and you need more fuel to support that, and then you have triple pump systems. I don't need that. This is just gonna be a very simple dual pump setup in this car right here. But this is how it comes. I took it out of the box. It's just ready to rock right there. These harnesses are on here, and this is for your fuel level sensor, which bolts right to the bracket right there. Drop it in. My gas gauge will work once we get it wired in, and then that's it. That is awesome. So the complete kit, it's called their L1 kit. So they have different levels on Fore, and you can get rails or no rails. This is called a level 1. It's basically like their budget kit, but it's very high end, and there's a lot of additions you can get. I have the filter right here, which you can open this up and change your filter element inside, which is awesome. I want to talk about this in a minute because this is probably one of the coolest things of the kit. Let's jump on to the fuel pressure regulator. So when you do the Coyote swap, it's a return style fuel system, and it's going to pump the fuel you're not using back to the tank. That's what this is right here, and that's how it's going to work. So we have basically a line in, line out to the engine, and a return back to the tank. And this stuff is beautiful. I mean, it's gonna look good on that car. I love it. You get 25 feet of line. I got the Dash 8. I don't know the future of this car. I mean, I probably could have used the Dash 6 line, but I don't know exactly what I'm gonna do with it. Maybe add boost someday. I doubt it, but that's not really my plan. But I went with the 8 line. And this being the dual pump setup, I can change the different pumps in the future if I want to make more power. Comes with this right here. It's a check valve. So all this does is keep some fuel in your line. So you turn the car off, the fuel wants to drain back down the line, let's say. This will keep some fuel in the line to make startup a little bit easier. Everything is awesome on this. It's a great kit. I did opt as an option, have a drop down. And we have it on our website as well as a fuel pressure gauge, so I can check my fuel pressure. So I do need to adjust that right here. I think the Ford Racing control pack's like right around 55 PSI. That's what we're gonna do. And so I was talking to Ford on this kit right here. I was like, I'm gonna get a couple extra things just to kind of look at them. We have these tools here in the shop, but I wanted to see for the normal person, if they're buying this off our website, what are you really getting? And they had these like really cool little drop downs for some Loctite, a black pen. If you scratch your fittings, a little marker, you can fill that in so they don't look scratched. They have this toolkit. This whole toolkit right here, I think was like $62 or $65. It's the proper size, so you're not using crescent wrenches or whatever to try to put all these fittings together with the hose. That's awesome. And look at this. All the little clips right here to mount your line properly. But this is what I was really excited about. So when talking to Fore, they said a lot of times people do not get this. This is basically like the wiring harness. It's called their FC2. And this is all we need for this fuel setup right here. But come here, Doug, look how easy this is. So essentially, keep in mind this isn't waterproof. You got to mount this somewhere that's not going to be underneath the car. But this is literally plug and play. It's so easy to install. So your relays are inside of this, and right here, you're going to plug this in. This is your power. You got your battery and your ground. Boom. The only other thing you run to this, besides this right here, would be a key on power. So when I turn the key on, all this powered up, and then these right here plug directly into the fuel pumps, and then the other ends run right here. Like, you don't get any easier than that. It does come with this big fuse right here as well, and that's a killer setup. I also opted, this is an option. This is basically your fuel filter, a billet mount. Some people might get like a clamp type deal to mount the fuel filter. I want it to look really good, so I got this, and that's gonna be awesome underneath the car. So this is a system from Fore. Again, they make them for very mild conversions like we're doing, all the way to radical, 2,000 horsepower cars. But I think that's all I'm gonna show you. Check the description because I'll put a lot more info in there. And again, when you start getting into these fuel systems, there's different types of lines you can get, different types of filters, different types of fuel. It gets pretty crazy. And their tech department was awesome on helping out on this. So that's it right there. Let's go check out the car. We've been working on it. As you saw in the last behind the scenes, the engine and training is in. I think we're doing exhaust today, battery relocation, control pack's almost finished. So let's go check it out right now. Oh, one more thing. They give you tons of information. Right? These are not really instructions on how to mount this and wire it. You gotta use common sense, but it does give you tons of information on how all these items work right here and the proper way to wire them, but just not route them. So use your brain on that. So let's go check it out. All right, so a lot has gone on in this car since the last behind the scenes, and that I'm not gonna interrupt these guys. They got the car on the lift. I wanna show you a couple things that we can see right now. And don't worry, we're gonna get this car down in future episodes and go over a lot more detail on what's happened, but a couple things I can see right now is we did install the battery location and put the battery in the trunk. And we do have, this is our cutoff switch. When you put the battery in the trunk, you're drag racing, you have to have this. Basically, it disconnects the battery. So you turn it off and on, just like that right there. And then I want to show you this exhaust system I'm going to run underneath this car. So, like I said, I really would like to have an awesome set of headers, awesome set of exhausts. But from a budget standpoint, I'm not going to get that yet. So let me show you what I have on here. This is kind of crazy, but it'll be cool. Come over here. Dougie, so we are running the factory exhaust manifolds. I told you that in the last behind the scenes. This is a Pipes X-Pipe, all right? Here is my mufflers I'm gonna run. I actually haven't done this since I was in high school or like 20 years old, but these are like a Pipes brand M80 muffler with a turn down essentially, and they're gonna go on something like this. And we're gonna mount brackets today. But this is gonna be like race car awesome. I said in the very first teaser video, I wanted this car loud. Yeah, this is gonna do it. So that's what this is gonna be. I think it'll be kind of fun because all my street cars have full exhaust and this thing's just gonna be like racy and loud. That's not something I normally do right there. It's probably not something I'm gonna have on this car way in the future, but I don't know, maybe I'll love it. It's a drag car, so who cares? But the price is really, really good. You can get into like a X-Pipe like this with mufflers and tips, I don't know, like $400 or something like that versus way over $1,000 for all the long tubes and mid-pipe that I really want. So that's what's gonna be on this car right now. And I think it's gonna be cool. So back in the Fox Body days when I was younger, we'd buy one chamber Flowmasters. And that's like old school. So what we would do is we put one chamber Flowmasters under a car with a turn down. And we thought, our cars were badass. But, they were kind of badass. But in our brains, boy, they sounded awesome. So that's what I'm gonna run on that because I'm doing it as cheap as possible. There are some things, as you've seen, like the fuel system I'm spending extra money on that I wasn't really planning on doing. So I have to go cheap on other things, and this is where it's going to happen. From a performance standpoint, it's not hurting me. And when I get long tubes down the road, yes, I will get a little bit more power, but I don't want to spend the money on that right now. Still waiting on the suspension to come. Doug, let's walk back. I'm leaning over underneath this car right here like a hunchback. So suspension's on its way, and it has some drag springs, some awesome suspension, anti-roll bar is going to go on the back. You're going to be seeing that coming up, and we're planning on getting this car started really quickly. I bought a Barton shifter, like a race spec shifter, and it's on like a 2-week back order. So for now, I had to put a stock shifter in this just to be able to get the car running, because I want this thing running as soon as possible. And then we'll do a video on the whole shifter I picked out and why I picked it out. So that's it for today. Don't forget to subscribe, hit notify, stay up to date. Thanks for watching Brenspeed TV. Leave comments. If you have questions on this stuff, I'll be happy to answer. And check that description. I'll try to put as much info as possible on the fuel system. It's really complicated, but I'll put a bunch of info there to maybe give some insight as well. So thanks for watching.